rising bubbles lies one of the most guarded secrets in human history. A dark liquid. A chemical formula that hasn't changed in over a century, sold in every single corner of the planet. Did you know that Coca-Cola produces more than 1.9 billion servings every single day? That means, while you are listening to this sentence, thousands of bottles have already been opened across the globe. But how does a mysterious powder and ordinary water transform into a drink that triggers the pleasure centers of your brain? Is it true that the secret recipe is locked in a high-tech vault, accessible by only 2 people on Earth? Welcome to the Production Code. Today, we are decoding the Coca-Cola formula, from the complex biochemistry behind the taste to the high-speed engineering that never sleeps. Let's go inside the bottle. The story didn't start in a massive factory. It began in a small, dusty laboratory in 1886, owned by a pharmacist named John Pemberton. He wasn't trying to change the world. He was simply looking for a cure for a headache. He mixed coca leaf extract with the cola nut, creating a thick, dark syrup that sold for just 5 cents a glass. But the true genius wasn't just in the mix. It was Frank Robinson, Pemberton's bookkeeper, who gave it the iconic name and wrote it in the flowing script we still see on every bottle today. But here is where it gets interesting. The 7X formula. This is the heart of the mystery. For over 130 years, the exact proportions of the ingredients have been kept in a massive, multi-million-dollar vault at the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. Rumor has it that only 2 executives know the full recipe at any given time, and they are never allowed to travel on the same plane together. Is it a marketing stunt? Maybe. But in the world of industrial secrets, this mystery is worth billions. By 1894, the game changed forever. The drink moved from the pharmacy soda fountain into the glass bottle. This allowed the Red Giant to travel, crossing borders and oceans, turning a local tonic into a global obsession. But how do you keep the taste identical, whether you are in the deserts of Africa or the skyscrapers of New York? To find out, we have to look at the most critical ingredient of all: the water. Water is the largest ingredient in a bottle of Coke, but if you think it's just tap water, you couldn't be more wrong. Inside this facility, water undergoes a massive 7-step purification process. The goal? Total neutrality. Engineers use activated carbon to strip away every single trace of chlorine, odor, or local minerals. Why? Because the water in London tastes different from the water in Dubai. To ensure a global taste, the water must be a blank canvas, a zero base for the chemistry to follow. Once the water is pure, we enter the most restricted area, the mixing room. This is where the secret concentrate arrives in sealed, heavy-duty containers from a few central labs. This thick syrup is a complex matrix of cinnamon, vanilla, citrus oils, and phosphoric acid. That zing or bite you feel in the back of your throat, that's the phosphoric acid working its magic. It balances the high sugar content and gives the drink its signature acidic profile. But there's a problem. Sugar and gas don't like to mix easily. To solve this, the factory uses a massive heat exchanger to drop the temperature of the liquid to near freezing levels. Cold liquid is like a cage. It's the only way to trap the carbon dioxide gas we're about to inject. If the temperature is off by even 1 degree, the gas is continued in control. The modern mixing takes cape, and your soda will go flat before it even hits the shelf. This is where precision engineering meets high-stakes chemistry. Now that the liquid is cold and ready, it's time for the most violent part of the process, the carbonation. In this chamber, the magic happens. High-pressure carbon dioxide is forced into the icy cold liquid. This isn't just mixing, it's a chemical embrace. The gas molecules dissolve into the syrup, creating the potential energy that will eventually explode into bubbles the moment you flip the cap. While the liquid is being charged, thousands of bottles are screaming down the assembly line at a pace the human eye can barely follow. We are talking about 60,000 bottles every single hour. But take a look at the bottle itself. This isn't just glass, it's the contour bottle. Designed in 1915, the brief was simple but impossible. Create a bottle so unique that you could recognize it by touch alone in the dark, or even if it was shattered on the ground. The curves, the ribs, the tapered waist, it's a masterpiece of industrial branding. But in the factory, it's a challenge. These bottles must withstand incredible pressure during the filling process. If a single bottle has a microscopic crack, the pressure of the carbonation will turn it into a glass grenade. This is why every millisecond, high-speed laser scanners inspect the glass. They check for thickness, symmetry, and clarity. If a bottle is off by a hair's width, a jet of air blasts it off the line before it can even reach the filler. The liquid hits the glass, the cap is crimped on in a fraction of a second, and the pressure is sealed inside. But how do we know the mix is perfect? How do we know the fizz will last for months? The answer lies in the science of the cold chain and the final inspection. The bottle is full, the cap is on, but the journey has just begun. In a modern Coca-Cola plant, good enough doesn't exist. Every single bottle passes through an X-ray fill level inspector. If the liquid is even 2 millimeters below the line, the machine detects it instantly. Why so strict? Because the empty space at the top, the head space, is critical. It acts as a shock absorber for the pressure inside. Without that exact gap, the bottle could explode during a hot day in a delivery truck. Now, let's talk about the cans. Aluminum cans move even faster than glass, up to 2,000 cans per minute. But there is a hidden secret inside that silver cylinder. Before the lid is seamed, a tiny drop of liquid nitrogen is injected into the can. This drop of nitrogen expands instantly into a gas, creating internal pressure that makes the thin aluminum wall incredibly rigid. This is what allows you to stack hundreds of cases on top of each other without the bottom cans crushing. It's a miracle of structural engineering hidden in a drop of gas. Once verified, the bottles and cans fly into the labeling station. High-speed rollers apply the famous red label using laser-guided precision. The glue used here is specially formulated to withstand condensation. It won't peel off even if the bottle sits in a bucket of ice for hours. Finally, the robotic arms take over. These massive palletizers stack the crates with a mathematical dance, optimizing every square inch of space for the trucks waiting outside. But how does this massive red empire stay on top? How do they ensure that, no matter where you go, you are never more than a few minutes away from a cold Coke? Coca-Cola isn't just a drink anymore. It's a logistical superpower. To stay at the top, the company manages a supply chain that is more complex than some national militaries. Their strategy? Total omnipresence. From the smallest street kiosk in a remote village to the bright lights of Times Square, the goal is for a Coke to be within an arm's reach of desire. To achieve this, they don't just sell the drink, they sell the equipment. Those red vending machines and branded refrigerators aren't just for cooling, they are silent soldiers claiming territory in every store on Earth. But the real secret to their 130-year reign isn't just the logistics, it's the psychology. Coca-Cola spends over $4 billion every year on advertising. They don't sell you ingredients. They don't even talk about the taste. They sell you happiness. Think about it. They are the ones who solidified our modern image of Santa Claus in his red suit. They've linked their brand to the Olympics, the World Cup, and every major human celebration. They've turned a dark, carbonated syrup into a symbol of togetherness. But as we look inside the factory today, we see a new challenge. The world is changing. People are more health conscious, and the red giant is pivoting. Thousands of engineers are now working on sustainable packaging, reducing water waste, and perfecting sugar-free formulas that still hit that 7X flavor profile. Whether you love it or avoid it, you cannot deny the engineering marvel behind it. Every time you hear that pop and fizz, you are witnessing the result of a century of chemical precision, mechanical speed, and a secret recipe that remains the world's greatest mystery. Let's make the things build. They're long to you, the top of no time. The next time you hold that cold glass bottle, look closely at the bubbles. You aren't just looking at a soda. You are looking at the most successful industrial symphony in history. What's your favorite memory with a cold Coke? Or do you think the secret recipe is just a clever marketing trick? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Production Code to join us on our next journey behind the machines.